not have to pay. Their focus is shifted from the core ideals of governance to repaying the monies that they may have spent. And sometimes it becomes a worrying problem to us, because the little money that they get, or the little money available for development, you have to dip your hands in to repay the loans that you may have borrowed. But if you have public funding, it sets a ceiling of funding beyond which, or it sets a ceiling beyond which, yes, you cannot spend in an electioneering campaign. And it is good so that you don't put a lot of pressure on political party leaders and those who are looking forward to winning elections and looking forward to being elected into top position. And so for me, the solution lies in having public funding of political parties law, so that it will distribute, it will create that level playing field for all political parties, and then also it will ensure that political parties are able to function in the inter-election period. You see, the conduct of elections, or political parties presenting candidates and participating in elections, is supposed to be just about 5% of the role of political parties. Political parties are supposed to function as agents of interest aggregation. They are supposed to function as agents of interest aggregation. They are supposed to be functioning as agents of political socialization. They are supposed to be functioning as agents that would recruit and groom future political leaders for the country. Elsewhere, political parties, particularly those in opposition, are supposed to be able to conduct research into national crisis for the purposes of feeding the government of the day with their perspective as to how the crisis can be handled. And then they are supposed to present candidates for elections. So I've mentioned all these things, but you realize that we are only focusing on the conduct of elections alone. And I'm saying that's about 5% of the functions of political parties. But how do they perform the other functions that are given to them by our constitution? And especially, how do they perform these functions during the inter-election period? They are able to do or perform these functions only when they have resources. But if you go to many party offices, they don't even have resources to pay the cost of their utilities. They are not able to maintain regular staff there. Some of them, they don't have the money to maintain offices there. So when they hear that the Electoral Commission is going round touring the party offices, they will simply go and rent somebody's shop and paint it in party colors and take away and remove the wares that are in the person's shop, and then put one table, one computer there. The moment Electoral Commission inspect the place, then they revert the shop to its owner. And the next time you go, they are selling gari, and they are selling rice, and they are selling oil and tomatoes there. It tells you they are unable to maintain offices. And so the point is that when you have public funding of political parties to tackle all these challenges, plus also it will ensure that these parties have enough resources to be able to finance their activities. So whilst we brainstorm or think about how we'll make political parties, public funding of political parties a reality, whilst we campaign and push that there is already a draft bill and it must be implemented, I would also urge political parties and their support base to try, especially the supporters of political parties, to try to move away from their mere sentimental attachment to political parties, to contributing to funding these political parties and to campaign. There is no point saying that you support NDC or you support NDC MPP, and yet you are not willing to dole some cash, even if it's 1 cedi among all party supporters. If you're able to commit, political party supporters are able to commit to just 1 cedi a month to funding political parties, the idea of campaign financing will be easy, and those campaigns will not be compelled to be looking for resources in unapproved or unacceptable ways, in a manner that would come back to haunt us once the person has won the election. And so basically These are a few things that I want to say about campaign financing, and I'm saying the way to go to. Whilst we push for public funding of political parties, we must also encourage the support base, party foot soldiers and party apparatchiks. They have money to make phone calls, they have money to buy expensive phones, they buy credits every now and then. I am appealing to them that in order to safeguard our democracy, in order to prevent our candidates from reaching out to other sources that our constitution and our laws frown on in raising resources, let the party support base also be responsive and responsible enough in contributing by way of party dues and by way of other fundraising activities, and let these contributions be also used in supporting campaign financing and party funding. Thank you.